Double P Podcast is proud to present
Z, the first podcast you listen to after you watch
Y the Last Man. My name's Bubba. Also with me is someone who touched the effing corn pops. It's the king of small ball. Catfish, how you doing?
Oh, hell yeah. We're getting close to my favorite day, Bubba. Fuck's Day Saturday.
Oh, man.
But you know what, Bubba?
Yeah?
I'm not worthy of your secrets.
Oh, no. Did you make me a cake for F Day Saturday?
Yeah, but mine had a U on it.
Hey, now. Listeners, we are talking about Y the Last Man.
Yeah.
We hope season 1, we definitely know episode 9 entitled Peppers. As tensions at the Pentagon come to a head, Jennifer faces a new surprising threat. Meanwhile, the Amazons hit the road. Catfish, what is your rating for episode 9 of season 1?
I'm going to give this 6.2, what I like to call double C's.
Double C's?
Yeah, confused sharerists.
Wait, what? Confused sharerist? What the hell is this?
Yeah, well, I was trying to figure out whether it should be shearerists.
Oh, no. Okay.
But then I thought we'll call them sharerists.
No, brother.
Like Cher, they're confused. I'm confused.
They should turn back time, that's for sure.
They should do a lot of things. The first thing they should do is explain to me what their motives are. No. Because this is, Bubba, you know, this has been creeping up on us. I got to give all credit to you. This came to you very early in the season. You wanted pot boiling. Well, you got a pot boiling.
I did.
I don't understand why it's boiling or what the water wants.
6.2 is very low. So
it's low. I have to apologize. It's low. I just feel like this is episode 9. There's so many different things going on that seem like this is like should be like episode 5, episode 6, maybe even episode 7. I feel like we've got so many. You know, this is your fault. You wanted pots boiling, and the entire stove is full of boiling pots. You've got 6 boiling pots on the stove, Bubba. Yeah. This is all your fault. Okay, so I was a little down on it, except for the Fuck's Day Saturday.
Oh, okay.
What's your rating, Bubba?
I hear you talking about all these pots boiling. We don't need to boil pots. We don't need boiling water to make PB&J sandwiches. And so that was my first thought on your comment. My rating is higher. I actually went up from last week, even though I think I have some of the same questions as you do. And so I'm going to give this 8, what I like to call double B's out of 10.
Oh, yeah, double B's?
Right. Well, do you remember how last week's episode, the actual episode was titled Ready, Aim, Fire? And that's a fun twist because ready, aim, fire is what you say with a gun. But at the end of the episode, the PriceMax went up in fire. So, fun. So
that is fun.
My 8 double B's is also meant in a sense of fun. It's for blunt blitzes. So they blitzed the Pentagon, they blitzed that women's center, the Amazons did, and York smoked a blunt. And so...
All right. I see how you put it all together here.
It just all goes together. Now, I am going to suddenly be schizophrenic where all these weeks I've been saying, let's go. Get me to the fireworks show. Get me to the fireworks show. So they took me to the fireworks show. So
they took you to 4 different fireworks shows. Okay, not 4.
So the fact that I'm going to be a bit negative about this, be picky about my fireworks show, I apologize. Yeah. You know, I'd like to come up with my own reasonings and everything, but I just felt very odd after the episode, even though I liked, once again, so much in it. As we review the episode, I'll talk about it. But I went to IO9's review of the episode, where they had this sentence that I pulled directly from IO9. Yorick's ex-girlfriend Beth leading some kind of invasion of the Pentagon. And that kind of says it, right? Leading some kind of invasion. Then the AV Club, their review said, is it the anarchist, separatist, somethingist? Why the Last Man hasn't made it clear, so I can't either, who stormed the Pentagon, who don't really seem to have a plan past burn things.
You mean besides Roxanne? That's also Roxanne's plan. Yeah, speaking of another R, I forgot to mention this, Bubba, but it kind of stuck in my craw a little bit.
Get it out of your craw. Get it out of there.
We had this great tension between Regina and the president.
Yes.
And I mean, yes, we want pots to boil, but I don't want her taken out of the picture, Regina taken out of the picture altogether.
Ooh, well, I do.
You know what I mean? You build up this whole thing. I mean, obviously, we still have, your favorite X-View panelist, Kimberly. It seems like she's going to be the one, but I just loved Regina, and Regina, she
gone too soon. Now, Catfish, I have a feeling you saying that sentence that we're going to have a big debate, big disagreement on how some of this went down, even though, as I mentioned, I wish we knew more about these people attacking the Pentagon for sure. But you know what, listeners, we've given you our kind of initial impressions, and we'll go much deeper in this podcast. But we always say, who cares what we think? We want to know what you think. Please reach out to us. We're Double P Podcast. That initially stood for Packed Podcast. So it was a triple P. Either way, at Double P HQ for headquarters, at Double P HQ on Twitter and Instagram, Facebook.com/Double P HQ. If you're listening to this on YouTube, go down into the comments, leave a comment, leave a question you have for us about the show, about your thoughts. Hit that like button. We want you on this journey with us into seemingly random acts of violence happening everywhere except where Yorick is. Yeah, we want you guys to tell us. We have some questions about this episode. What do you listeners feel about it? Please reach out and let us know.
Yeah, you can't unsubscribe in anger unless you first subscribe in hope.
Right. So all those Amazons subscribe to our podcast in hope. Now they're killing corn pops. They're breakfast cereal slayers. And so, please subscribe. We want you with us on this journey. Now, Catfish, last week, the big non-episode discussion we had was about how Why the Last Man? FX on Hulu said they're not going to continue with it on their streaming platform. And we mentioned that, hey, we've covered shows that have been let go by their initial producer, their initial streaming or televised partner, and had great success. And sure enough, a show we were talking about last week, The Last Kingdom, which got, let go from BBC Two and BBC America, moved to Netflix. In Netflix, it's got 2 seasons already made. They've made a third. And just yesterday, Netflix announced that after this 3rd season they've made, 5th season overall, The Last Kingdom's going to get a final movie to wrap up everything. I mean, that is...
Oh, holy cow. Now,
wow.
See, Bubba, people been asking me, and I was like, I know that they have covered nowhere near all the books.
Right.
And I just assumed before they made the last season, they knew it was the last season. But this is a smart move. They're going to probably try to cover 4 books in a movie.
Yeah. The Last Kingdom, Catfish. That's completely true. I'm just saying this to any listener who maybe doesn't watch The Last Kingdom to say why The Last Man can do this. Why The Last Man can kind of overcome this very tough setback from being let go from FX on Hulu. But it's been done, and it's been done so many times where when it's relaunched on a new streamer or a new platform, it's been successful. So that's what we hope for. Even if we've been tougher on these last 2 episodes, we're still all in on this show. We love the graphic novel, and we think this show, when it's cooking with gas and when it's hitting on all cylinders, this show is really great. So we're hoping it can make a move and have a great second life like Last Kingdom.
Hell yes.
Now, Catfish, before we get into this episode, I kind of wanted to talk about our history of rechristening characters with new names. So they have one name on the show, and then we on our podcast give them a different name.
I believe I was the first person to do this when I have coined the very hard to say heroable.
Yes, on Why the Last Man, we have renamed the character Heroable for her seemingly horrible actions she does throughout the first now 9 episodes of season 1. But one of our favorites that we've referred to a couple of times is we were podcasting about a show called The Strain. That was also an FX show, believe it or not. And so The Strain had this character who was heavily present in season 1, who they would never really refer to the character by her name so much as the character was Nora's mom. So there was a character on the show named Nora, and there was her mother. And so in the podcast, we kept saying things like, well, Nora's mother said this, or Nora's mother said this. And very quickly it became, well, we talked about her so much that we started referring to the original character as Nora's mother's daughter, Nora. And so that kind of got us off on this rechristening characters with new names. So I want to pitch 3 new names to you about characters on Y the Last Man, in addition to Heroable. And I want you to give me your reaction to, hey, that's a perfect new name for them, or nah, we gotta stick with their original name, or come up with something new. You ready?
All right. I love it.
Okay, so there's this character there in Ohio who seems to be really all into Yorick. She's interested in the Yorick. She is totally up for what on our last podcast I called a hoedown and chill. And so I just want to name Sonya Hoedown and Chill Sonya. Are you ready for that to be her new character?
I like that. I like the hoedown and chill Sonya. I like that.
Okay, now there is another character in DC who we've been following since the very first episode who knew the secret that the President Brown's son, Yorick, survived. And this whole time, I was ready for Christine to spill the beans to everybody and say, yes, President Brown's son, Yorick, still lived. But here in episode 9, we got to episode 9, and it's actually President Brown doing it. So I want to officially rename the original character as Spilled No Beans Christine.
You know, I like it that it rhymes.
Yes.
But how about No Chatty Cathy Christine?
Oh, okay. I like that. Perfect. Okay, so no chatty Cathy Christine. Lip lock Christine did a great job, didn't give up the ghost of Yorick. Now, this final one, though, I've already released out into the world on Twitter. I did it before I even saw episode 9. But we've got a character who we've once again known since the first episode, known as Beth. But we've just got to totally rechristen her because that is not Beth. That is Bethtrayal. I mean, this lady is just...
That one is great. People have really embraced that one more than Heroable, but probably because Heroable is hard to say.
It is.
Bethtrayal is perfect.
Okay, so that'll be our new character names as we review their actions in these final 2 episodes. Listeners, if you have a great idea for what you call some of these characters when you're not referring to them by their actual character name, please reach out to us at PHQ on Twitter and Instagram, Facebook.com/PHQ. We want to hear from you. Now, Catfish, where do you want to go first? We always talk about the show having various focuses. We have like almost an idyllic focus in Ohio with Yorick, Agent 355, and Dr. Ban. We have complete insanity with the Amazons' attack on a art installation? I don't even know what to call it. Another group of women. And we have the holy smokes, all hell has broken loose at the Pentagon. What do you want to talk about first this week?
Let's start with the Million Man Voice March.
Okay, all right. Okay, so the Amazons, they had the whole episode last week. They burned down the PriceMax. Nora did, I should say. And they're moving forward with a new plan. And what is that plan, Catfish?
Well, their plan is that since they've lost all their food and supplies, they will find other people who have food and supplies and relieve them of it.
Hey, that's a smart plan.
It is a smart plan, and I have to say this. Well, you go ahead and say a little bit more. I had some comments, some real-time comments about this plan, which ended up being slightly amusing.
Now, Catfish, do you watch the version of Hulu where they're actual commercial during the show?
I do, sadly indeed.
I do as well. So it began with the team York and 355 and Dr. Mann in Ohio until I got a first commercial break. And so that feels like a good almost 10 minutes of them. And then it comes back. We see Hero walking through something that we don't realize till much later, or I didn't realize till much later, is a Hall of Voices display. The banner, I believe, said, "Hear them speak again." And I was like, what is going on? I was completely lost. It was such a jarring change of seeing Hero in this new place from where she had been at the PriceMark. I was lost.
I was lost too, but I thought it was cool. The building was really cool.
Oh, yeah.
And plus it was a very cool installation. As a 3-time veteran of Burning Man, I appreciate cool art installations.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when they aren't accompanied by porta potties and extreme heat. So, very cool.
Catfish.
Yeah,
Catfish.
talk to me.
This Hall of Voices display that Hero walked through, you know that's going to be really cheap on Groupon.
Just until the word of mouth gets around.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. There are all these men's voices talking. And once again, you see Hero walking through it. I was completely disoriented until she walks up to the other daughters of the Amazons and says, "They're 10 inside, all unarmed." Youch.
God damn it. People don't appreciate art anymore.
Right. Well, how about this? Nora, who I've always kind of liked, she's the one who picked this place to raid. And I suppose you got to raid what you can raid. But seeing this was just terrible. And even though Nora picked this place out, Nora is more comfortable in currently being in a puppet master role. We'll just wanted to say, hey, go raid it. But Roxanne still doesn't like the power dynamic between the two and was like, no, Nora, if we're going to raid, we're all raiding. You pick up a bat, you do what you're supposed to do. What do you think about this?
Well, Bubba, I thought really this is the extent of Nora's advice. It's going to be, her advice was, grab all the food you can. And I thought, no shit, Ms. Sherlock.
Hey, no.
What else are they going to do? Like, I really thought like her advice is not really invaluable at this point.
I think we as an audience are supposed to see this as a pointless raid. I mean, when you're saying grab all the food you can and saying, no duh, you would think, yeah, there's a lot of duh on the Amazon point. Hero, who I always try to give, I almost feel a bit sympathy for the character because I see people attack her online and call her heroable.
Because she's horrible.
Right.
She's heroable.
But she's the worst. Her role in this attack was to smash a sunglass hut. What?
And then the Amazons start destroying all the food. And you know what, Bubba? At this point, I thought, you know what? Maybe they should have listened to Nora's instructions. maybe Nora does have something to tell them that they don't immediately realize, even though it's obvious to you and I.
Oh, my Lord. Now, Laura is smashing breakfast cereal. Nora goes up to Laura and is like, don't touch the effing corn pops. And Laura doesn't know the power dynamic has shifted to give Nora more power. She must still think Roxanne's in charge because she says, my name is Athena. Like, you don't even have it right. You don't even know my name, Nora.
Well, to be clearly honest with you at this point, the dynamic has not changed at all, really, except for the fact that Nora's being tolerated. By Roxanne.
Oh, my Lord. Roxanne is also stupid. She's going up to this PA system. I mean, we all hate DJs occasionally, but come on. And Nora's pissed off saying, hey, we could have traded this. Of course you could have traded this. I kept talking about Hero having tasted all the Kool-Aid and enjoyed it last week. Nora's daughter, Mack, has totally flipped to the other side. Oh, Roxanne, your tent is ready. Oh, my Lord, is this not the worst? To see that if you're Nora, you have to stick with these people because you need food, you need to survive in this post-apocalyptic world. But to see your daughter sucking up to this complete doofus, for lack of a better word, of Roxanne, that's got to destroy Nora. Oh, my Lord.
Well, you know what? I feel like Nora was giving good advice, and now maybe she needs to hear some advice from Mack, which is don't be an idiot to Roxanne, who's in charge of all these crazy women.
Man, oh man, oh man. Let's go a bit further into this. Would you say, and maybe we shouldn't get into politics or anything, but does this odd relationship between Nora and Roxanne remind you of any real world things? Like, is there a leader who you've thought, yeah, they get the crowd riled up, but there's some people pointing them in the right direction on the side? I get it.
You should leave all that in along with the edit to make it seem like I said something horrific.
Yes, I will. Okay. After this attack, which I think as an audience, we're supposed to see how pointless this is, how wasteful this is. We're supposed to see how Nora is right and all these daughters of the Amazon are really just lost, for lack of a better word.
I mean, sure, but I felt like Nora was more. I thought Nora was smarter last week.
Okay.
In what she said to Roxanne, as far as like, this is only going to take you so far with these girls.
Nora's got to just take control. Nora's got to knock Roxanne out of the way and take over these rough shots because
I don't know whether I don't know what she's going to have to do something. She's going to have to get her hands dirty to do that.
Oh, yeah.
Which is clearly she doesn't want to do. So yes, Nora can be advising Roxanne and Roxanne may be tolerating her, but I don't think anybody else believes in Nora the way they believe in Roxanne. She's going to have to prove something to them rather than just yelling at them about saving corn pops.
Well, how about the rest of these daughters of the Amazon? I don't know what to think about them, except to think maybe they're just all brainwashed and we're supposed to accept it. They seemingly love Hero, and they're impressed that she killed her boyfriend. And Roxanne was a tattletale.
You say that, and then that leads me to this other confusing... Do we think that Nora is going to get Hero on her side? When Nora tells her... tells Hero about the story about her dead husband. She says, don't tell Roxanne your secrets. She's not worthy of them.
I think that's a good line. I don't know if the Pepper story really was a great bonding moment with Hero. But I think very direct, simple lines like, don't tell Roxanne your secrets. She's not worthy of them. I think those are smart. And I think there was some very good acting to let us as an audience know, oh, I didn't want everybody to know that I killed my boyfriend. So I think that is a smart line by Nora. What do you think?
Yeah, except for the fact that the one thing that I'll give Hero is that she is so selfish and such a, I don't want to say energy vampire. Let's say resource vampire, that she is going to stick with whoever's in charge and whoever can provide her with whatever she's looking for.
Hero is left, I feel, in a very odd position because we don't see her reaction to Nora and Roxanne's next plan. Roxanne and Nora, they're fighting over what to do next. Roxanne hates men. She screams out, men ruin my life. Everyone must die. And they're arguing over what to do next. I don't want to do small ball. And so Nora isn't ready to cut bait with Roxanne just yet. She runs into a woman who saw Yorick at the market in Boston. I love that this is coming back. Somehow, though, this woman seemingly knows, hey, I believe Yorick's in a town near here with electricity. How'd she know that? Whatever.
Don't know.
It's on everybody's Twitter feed, so at BHQ. So, hey, they're going to have a plan. Nora's like, oh, Roxanne, you're right. Let's get these men. There's rumors of a man in this town with electricity. I think Nora's doing it because she thinks, ooh, a town with electricity. Hey, that sounds good. Let's go there. But that's where they're going to go next. And Hero doesn't realize that this man is her brother, the brother she was unwilling to trash in Roxanne's trash men session from last week.
Maybe she will finally be able to trash Yorick. They could trash each other. Then they'll have no one left. Bubba,
yeah,
this whole storyline brought up a very, very important question that you had. Sometimes shows reveal things about life that really expand the depth of the show, and I feel like they did one here.
Okay, well, what do you mean by that?
It's very important, Bubba.
Yeah.
To ask yourself, what type of pepper are you? Bubba, are you a green pepper or are you a red pepper?
Well, as someone who's very steady in many ways, when I look in the mirror each morning, I think to myself, boring. So I think I'm a green pepper. That is my pepper my pepper, spirit pepper. Not spirit,
all right,
animal, but spirit pepper. How about you? What type of pepper are you, Catfish?
First of all, I'm red all the way, and I was gonna say some bad things about green peppers that I'm not gonna say now, knowing that you identify as a green pepper.
No, I can take it. I can take it. Give me some bad green pepper talk.
Okay, so first of all, if you want to talk about taste, green pepper is a trash taste. Boring. It's sour.
No.
Pretty horrible. Red pepper, it's got a lot more flavor to it. It's a lot sweeter.
No.
It's a lot more colorful.
No.
The red pepper. I'm a red pepper. If I wanted to be a pepper too, I'd be a red pepper.
Okay, so let's go through it right now. Let's list the Amazons. Are they red or green pepper? Roxanne, what is she?
She's spicy. She's a red pepper.
Just like you. Ooh, eat it. Okay. Hero. What is Hero right now?
Well, Hero, sadly, is a red pepper.
No, 2 for 2. Ouch. Okay, how about Mack?
Mack's trying to be a red pepper, but right now she's a green pepper.
Oh, good. She has time to grow. She has time to grow.
Lorthina?
Yeah.
Lorthina? Green pepper.
Oh, no. Okay. Wait a minute. There's one other character that I need to know what you think they are. What about Kelsey?
Kelsey?
Yeah.
She's spicy red.
No, man. Okay. Well, wait, did you say Nora? I assume Nora's green?
Nora is green right now.
Team green. All right,
She's
Nora.
green.
Way to go. How about this? If Nora were to take out Roxanne, would that be enough for you? Or do you want her to take them all?
If she takes out Roxanne and gets a little bit more pushy with everybody, red pepper.
Okay. Oh, there you go. Okay.
She might be this story of why the last man might be the story of Nora changing her pepper color.
Oh, man.
More than anything else.
Climb every mountain.
It's like the old things they used to do when I was a kid to figure out what you might be good at in life. It was called "What color is your parachute?"
Oh.
This one is what color pepper are you?
Hell,
Nora?
Yeah.
Green turn into red.
Love it. Okay, so hey, how about this? Are you excited about what the show is teasing us with? And that is the Amazons coming up against Yorick 355 and Dr. Mann. Is Agent 355, who I know you love, who I love, who everybody loves, is she a one-woman wrecking crew who could take out all of the daughters of the Amazon? What do you think?
Not all at once, but if they come at her like Kung Fu movie style one at a time, she could for sure take them out.
Love it. Okay, well, that's exciting. And that's one of the reasons I did go up to 8. There are bits in all of these stories where I question it a bit, but I do love where this is heading. And I've always really liked Nora. Even now, when I want her to just take out Roxanne, I do like Nora a lot on this storyline with horrible, heroable Athena Laura and rough enough Roxanne. Nora's the one I'm down with.
All right, I could tell. Yo, because right now she's a green pepper. When she becomes a red pepper, you're going to be like, no, gone. You know who is a brown pepper?
A brown pepper?
Yeah, Regina.
Yes, getting a little moldy. So is that where you want to go next, down to DC? Or do you want to go up to our 3 heroes?
Yeah, let's do our three heroes: Yorick, Agent 355, Dr. Mann. We start off now with Agent 355 doing some training, even though she's still having problems with her head. I think that perhaps is the explanation for why they're staying here. Nobody, unless I'm wrong, nobody agitates to leave, but it seems to me that 355 would want to be like, hey, let's hit the damn road. She's not one for like, okay, let's take a vacation day.
No, not at all. I wrote in the notes that I thought Agent 355 was preparing for the NFL Combine. She's, running back and forth, trying to improve her 40 time.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, dude, listen, that's very important to work on that before the Combine.
You got it.
Then she's also having flashbacks to the Culpa ring. She has a visitor when she's a kid who's like, I don't think you can do it. And she's like, hell yes, I can do it. And then there's like a quick flash from her doing that to like setting up the bomb that she blew up in the first episode.
Yeah. What do you think about this flashback Fran? So this Fran woman, is she negging her? What is the definition? What is she trying to do? Like, oh, you can't do it. What kind of motivational technique is this? How would you describe it?
Yeah, I think she's goading her.
Yeah.
She's goading her, and I don't, you know what, you just have to assume this is the kind of thing that, everyone kind of thinks might be happening somewhere, but it's not like there's a huge network and they're like putting feelers out. If anybody without family, anybody in a foster home shows any aptitude for anything, send me out. I've got my feelers out. Flashback Fran with the feelers.
Love it. Wonderful. And so, they keep teasing Agent 355's history. Now, I want to ask you a question. Are you interested? Are you fascinated with how this woman became a woman without a name, just a number, Agent 355? This story that they seemingly keep teasing. How are you feeling about it? Are you intrigued? What do you think?
Well, I kind of am. I just wonder, is their plan was their plan to keep dripping out information about her throughout the years?
Right.
Maybe it would have been good to have a little bit more information about her now.
I think it all depends. For me, I asked you the question, and let me go ahead and say my answer. I think it depends on what they plan to do with next week's episode. We know, or I should say the show has hinted, that once again, the Daughters of the Amazon are going to come into that Ohio town where Yorick, 355, and Dr. Mann are, and it's going to be a butting of heads. But I also wonder a bit if they're trying to set up as almost a cliffhanger that Flashback Fran's going to show up there by that little creek bed where the tracker was smashed and be like, "Where's my girl, 355?" That's what I wonder.
Huh. I mean, it kind of reminds me a little bit. I was watching the Doom Patrol when it got put on HBO Max.
Yep.
And I was like, well, this is good. We got a lot of flashbacks and setup. And then I was like, okay, we're done with the first season, and now it's going to be all moving forward.
Yep.
But we're still having a lot of flashbacks, which I'm like, no more. But part of their problem is that they have a couple famous people in the Doom Patrol that can only be seen as themselves in flashbacks.
Yes.
They have Matt Bomer, who is essentially the Invisible Man. So if you don't see him as a flashback, you just hear his voice. Brendan Fraser is in a big robot costume. It's clearly not him because it's somebody who is trimmer than all of us are at this point.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not just going to say him, all of us.
Right. I put on the COVID 19 pounds this pandemic, that's for sure. So you're saying on that show, they do flashbacks across multiple seasons, but there might be a production reason why, hey, let's reconnect with these characters who are in a different state now. So can they have multiple years of flashback Fran? I don't know. Multiple seasons, I should say. I don't know.
Well, maybe not a flashback. Well, but still we don't know what her real job was or what the Culper ring is all about.
Mm-hmm. No, that's completely true. They've given us subtle hints, but yeah, it has really been subtle. We are in the dark on a lot of this stuff. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Now, after 355 does her combine training, she goes back, and we can see that they're still in this town, and they almost have become comfortable and part of the town. I mean, Yorick is there. They are still kind of separate, but Yorick is there, and he's trying to mansplain about women in prison and how they are
and
not
don't
criminals.
And don't forget racism.
Oh, yeah, that's good. I'm glad you whispered that so everybody knows you don't really think that at all. You liked that point, didn't you? That was fun.
Yeah. It was fun. That I feel like I was mansplaining at the beginning of this show, that I thought that without all the men in the world, we'd have a much more peaceful world. According to this show, I'm dead wrong.
Way to go. Now, I keep calling it a hoedown because there's seemingly every time these people get together, they try to have fun. They try to relax. Hey, I want to move there. Let's do this. And let's get to a point that I think if you read the comic, it's very interesting. If you haven't read the comic, you may be wondering, where is this going? Yorick gets up and he starts man dancing, and he encourages Agent 355 to get up and dance with him. And here he's trying to get this woman who's been very strict, very cold, almost one note in her toughness and focus on a mission that our great listener at Genevieve Court said in some feedback we got a couple of weeks ago. And we see Agent 355 dancing. Heck yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But one person isn't excited about the two of them dancing, Catfish.
Oh, and who is that?
Hoedown and Chill.
Hoedown and Chill Sonia. And now Hoedown and Chill Sonia gets into a conversation with a woman whose name I don't remember, but also has another scene. So when she auditioned for this, it said 2 scenes.
Yes.
So, and that woman
is Dominique. Is that the woman who Dr. Mann goes up and awkward flirts with?
That is Dominique. And Dominique is like, hey, everybody wants some.
Heck yeah. Dr. Mann was trying to find out if Dominique was interested in Yorick like Hoedown and Chill Sonia might be. And we later find out, this might be jumping ahead a bit, that Dr. Mann is ready to get down with Dominique.
Hell yes. Don't judge her.
No, yeah, you're right. Hey.
Stop it. Stop judging. I felt she was a little defensive about that.
Listen, now, can I mention something? And maybe
You can.
this is crazy. So Dominique, when Dr. Mann is later talking to 355 about this, which clothes to wear when she goes and talks to Dominique, she says, hey, I've put in some FaceTime with Dominique. I've looked at her threat level. Dominique was a getaway driver. It's not like she killed anyone, but that's Dr. Mann kind of defending herself. Right.
Sure, they were all getaway drivers. None of them killed anybody.
But a couple of things about that scene. To me, it raised the question, are Dr. Mann and Agent 355 now friends? She's asking Agent 355, which of these should I wear?
I felt like she was flirting a little bit with 355, too.
Oh, yeah.
Hell,
yes.
Considering how serious Agent 355 is, everybody wants to flirt with her. You know why?
Why?
Because she is badass.
That works for me. But you know what else works for me?
What? Tell me.
Hoe down and chill Sonya. I am saying right now, and, forgive me for being completely honest, listeners. If you want to say TMI, I understand. But if I am Yorick, I'd get down on one knee and propose to hoe down and chill Sonya right this second. I'm saying she is perfect. She likes you, Yorick. She's not only hoe down and chill, she's mani-pedi and chill. I mean, she is giving you a hand massage and doing your nails. You know what? On the odd chance that hoe down and chill Sonya listens to this podcast, I'm going to get down on one knee right now. Hoe down and chill. Would you please take my hand?
Holy
forever
cow.
And ever. Amen.
I mean, I never realized, you know what it is? It's the entrancing smell of coconut. Yeah, she tells him it's coconut. Coconut better than grease.
Oh, man. They are smoking a blunt. They are having a great time. Is Yorick not see what's happening? He totally ruins the mood about, hey, hoe down and chill. Why don't you tell me your story about how you got out of the prison? That's not pillow talk there, Yorick. What do you think's going on there? If Yorick isn't going to make a move on hoe down and chill, does hoe down and chill need to be more aggressive and just be like, Yorick, should she say, Yorick, I like you. Let's do this. What's going on there? Why are they kind of slow rolling this relationship?
Well, I almost gave this episode double Y rating, but I knew you would be too upset.
Double Y?
Yeah, TZ Yorick. Because he is just... he's just teasing everybody, and he needs to stop being a tease.
Oh, you think he was teasing 355 with that little dance move, and now he's teasing this poor hoe down and chill Sonya?
Listen...
Yeah.
Yes, he absolutely is. He absolutely is. His hands are making promises his body can't cash.
Oh man, Dr. Mann.
His hand is writing checks his body can't cash.
Oh my goodness gracious. Well, how about this? There's one episode left in this season. Mm-hmm. Is there going to be hoe down and chill?
No, because he's committed to Beth. Yes.
Has he seen the third storyline? Come on, Yorick.
He's not seen the third storyline.
No.
And this is called a your trail. He's your traying Sonya.
He is. He's your traying me, Yorick. Step aside if you're not going to do anything, Yorick. Okay, so we kind of talked about it already, but 355, when hoe down and chill Sonya shows up with the tracker, 355 looks at it. She has another flashback friend.
Yep.
And then it's more culty training. It's so funny. We are spending a lot of times with cults across this series. But after the flashback, 355 goes down to this little creek bed. She destroys the tracker. Is that a good sign for her escaping whatever programming it almost feels like the culprit ring has given her? What did you think of 355 destroying the tracker? What did it mean to you?
I'm sort of in the same mode that I was with the confused sheriff, since I don't really know what her situation is with the culprit ring. I don't know what it represents. So I don't know what her destroying the tracker represents. Not what the culprit. Obviously, I don't know what the culprit ring represents, but I don't know what was her, because to me everything she's done so far has been to fulfill the mission we know about, which is to get Yorick somewhere safe so that Dr. Mann can figure out what's going on with this thing. So if she had another agenda, we never knew what it was, so we don't know what her abandoning that agenda means.
What would you believe it means?
I can't. I'm not even gonna. I'm not even gonna speculate. help a brother out. I mean, from what we saw, there were some. It appeared to be, and maybe I was just assuming, some shadowy, off the books government organization. And so they thought there was a threat to the president, so they moved her over there. So obviously they are in support of the government in some way, even if they're not governmental. So without an idea of her alternate plan, well, it doesn't mean anything. She's still doing what we thought she was going to be doing.
Hey, okay, one last question, and I'll answer the question. I'll answer the question myself before I pose it to you. The question is...
okay. Now I'll just sit down and shut up then.
That's all I've ever asked for. Are you enjoying this almost little timeout that our three heroes are enjoying in Ohio? Are you enjoying this pleasant place? These other storylines, we're seeing violent, almost for violence sake. We don't even know why. And yet here we're seeing a peaceful community that seems to be doing well. Are you enjoying spending your time here? I'll answer that question and say, I am. I do feel like, I've been talking all this time about take me to the fireworks factory. Let's get on with it. And I do feel like in this storyline, the hoedown and chill Sonia and Yorick, they have to get to that point. Okay, are we going to, have any sort of intimacy or relationship? Or is this just getting to the point where Yorick will say no? And no, I've got to hold out with Beth. I kind of feel like we needed that moment in this episode rather than 2 episodes of simmering hoedown and chill tension. But how about you? How are you feeling about this little pause we're taking in Ohio?
I like it. I mean, it would be, it would be good if they stuck around even next time, so we knew, that Roxanne and them were on the trail. But sometimes this show, makes those time jumps where we kind of want to experience things and we don't, which kind of leads me right into the last storyline, if you don't mind me just jumping into it.
No, I think that's a great transition. Let's hear it.
We see Regina and the person who's in charge of the woman who's in charge of the military.
Right.
And all of a sudden, the person who is in charge of the military says, 2 of my pilots are dead, ordered by the sitting president. She lost the right to lead. And I thought to myself, Bubba, did I miss something?
It feels like it, doesn't it? That suddenly, I believe this character, I apologize if I'm wrong, I believe this character was like General Reed or something. Yeah, she's suddenly completely on board. What is going on here? Whoa.
Well, they partially explain it later on when, spoiler alert, non-spoiler alert, we knew at the time when Yorick let that woman go that it was going to cause trouble for his mom, a.k.a. the usurper, President Brown.
Yep.
So later on, that woman does identify him. Now, how they jumped from that to she's the one who ordered the pilot's deaths. There's a lot. Let's just say we don't get all the information, and the information we got was after all this was said.
Yeah, Catfish, sorry, I may have cut you off there. We are missing a scene where they come to that realization. Those pilots walk by the memorial wall and see it. Wait a minute, this is the person we saw in the woods in mid-Pennsylvania. And we didn't see that. As you're saying, we find out about it after the fact. It's a hard left turn, I guess. Maybe not the best way to describe it, but it's also hard that suddenly these people...
It's just that in other cases, they made it clear, 28 days later, whatever, we thought, okay, we missed something. We would have liked to have seen that, but at least we knew. Here, it really did feel like I missed a scene.
No.
What am I, dumb? I don't answer that. Okay. Sit down and shut up. Don't answer that question.
Well, how about this? It feels like we did miss that moment, whether it's a scene or not. We definitely missed that moment. But then, WTF, #Bethtrayal. She's suddenly effing crazy and helping plant a bomb in the tunnel of the Pentagon subway station? Oh, my Lord, Bethtrayal. Were there any signs that she was this nuts? I think it's a bit weird that in episode 7, we saw her, and at the very end of episode 7, we have the twist of, hey, she comes back and she tells people in a van, yeah, okay, we can do this. But then we don't see her in episode 8, and now as soon as we see her in episode 9, she is full gone.
Well, then, Bubba, you haven't been paying attention to how horrible the Brown children are and how they corrupt the people around them. I would just say, hoedown and chill Sonia should be a lot better off without Yorick.
Well, President Brown's kids do have trouble. And let me say that, I did go 8 out of 10. So even though this group that's attacking the Pentagon, we really don't know much outside of their conspiracy theorists. They hear things, they're nuts, they're angry, which all of it makes sense. We haven't really seen it, but it all makes sense that people would be like that. Why did I go 8 out of 10? As a story, I think it was very smart to have these two elements hit at once. I kind of wish they had both had another beat, another moment, another scene like you're talking about. But the idea that Regina's coup is happening at the same time we have these barbarians at the gate busting in, I did think was a brilliant, brilliant point. Now, President Brown is with not chatty Cathy Christine, and Christine comes clean. She says, hey, I'm pregnant. And I like this little moment. I like the fact that it feels weird that it took us so long to get here with President Brown when she seemed so close to President Brown in these earlier episodes. But President Brown says a line that I think you would appreciate, Catfish. She was talking about having a child, and if it's a daughter, she said, even at our worst, she, meaning her daughter Hero, she was the best decision I ever made.
Do you mean at Hero's worst?
Wait. Hero
because
joke
that is pretty bad.
So Jennifer Brown, the President Brown, if she was still even president at this time, she and Christine are brought into the war room, and you can tell something's up.
Right.
She
so
can
here's
tell
the thing.
What is
this
going
is
on.
where we go. Oh, okay. Wait a second. She hasn't been. The usurper has not been usurped herself, because from the beginning of the scene we could have assumed that had already happened, and that somehow I missed it in my doobie-addled haze, my once-a-week doobie-addled haze.
Right.
Kimberly says, you killed my mother.
I love that line. I love that line, and I think it's true, and I think Kimberly has rightful rage about the lie.
And what did you think Kimberly was going to do with that piece of glass that she was eyeing and kind of manipulating with her foot? I was worried she was going to take down President Brown.
But before we get to that point, Kimberly is trying to get the president to come clean about Yorick. She's trying to get Christine to come clean. And she has this really crazy line to Christine where she's like, this sisterhood you think you're building is bullshit. Oh, man, I love that line. I love Regina and Kimberly together as a team. Regina really is gone too quickly.
I mean, I really think it's not the sisterhood. It's just trying to rebuild the freaking nation. It just happens to be it's a nation of all women, except for Yorick.
Well, okay, and friends like Sam. Now,
right, yes.
Now, what did you think about President Usurper Jen Brown coming clean? Why did she do it? Why not keep denying? Why would anybody believe it? But she does come clean. And what did it get her? It just got her the few allies in that room that she had are now suddenly PO'd. What did you think? Was that a good move coming clean at that point? Or do you still just deny? I
think you got to deny. This just goes to show, we have seen that, and there's no shame in it. She was a politician, but not like a master politician. And she has repeatedly shown through this season that while she has really good intentions, she's not a very good politician.
No. But she comes clean. Everybody is snapping at her. Kimberly's snapping at her saying, my sons are dead. And they tell, I guess at this point, soon to be former President Brown, you'll be placed in custody. She has to go.
She says you'll be placed in protective custody. Oh, okay. Which I feel like if it hadn't been for the bombing, protective custody would have been the new receive a medal.
Oh, no. Oh, this show is always so good about giving out the awards, giving out medals, protective custody. This is crazy.
With an egg timer activated bomb. Very important.
Now, when this bomb goes off, the soldiers who are loyal are like, okay, we've got to get everybody evacuated. These terrorists are invading. You mentioned it before. What do you call the terrorists again?
Well, it's either the Shearerists or the Sharerists.
Okay.
Turning back time.
And we're following these terrorists, and they really don't have much of a plan at all. But luckily for them, the leaders who know a bomb have gone off, who know they need to evacuate, to a safer area, they're still haggling as the terrorists attack them. You know what? Stop haggling and get somewhere safe. Oh my goodness gracious. Everyone is captured, and God blessed Bethtrayal is zip tie cuffing all the people. God, Bethtrayal is the worst.
And this is where we get an insight into the terrorists who, based on what we see from them, have no idea what they want.
They want to burn down the people who haven't been giving them food, haven't been leading them, and they believe caused this horrific disaster and killed all the Y chromosome creatures. It is like the January 6th insurrection in that at least in the January 6th insurrection, I suppose, we knew what they wanted, but they really just want to smash stuff up and let their anger out.
Well, yes. Yeah, I guess you're right. You're right about that. More proof that this show is trying to cause me PTSD about our present political situation.
Excellent job, episode 9 Peppers.
So now the army wants proof of the president being alive.
Right, but which president?
Right. It's amazing because there's talk about it. They make Kimberly get on the radio. Kimberly gets slapped.
Oh, terrible.
Horrible. Jennifer says she's president. She can help. Regina, then they get into a fight over who's president. And Bubba, who doesn't love a good game of who's the president?
You know what, Catfish? I've been into politics. And you know the weird thing about politics?
Tell me.
Well, these politicians, they give them nicknames, funny nicknames. So I've got... President 1 is, they call who? I got what's on second president. I don't know what's third president. This is crazy. Now, Jennifer, once again, we know that she's done a lot of wrong, but she is doing the right thing, Catfish. She's saying, you know what, free these hostages, let the hostages go. I'll be your only hostage, and then we can get you what you want. She's showing leadership in this ridiculously insane situation.
Well, she's not only showing leadership, but she's basically saying, like, she's realizing that whoever the president is in danger, and she's like, I will take that. I will jump on that grenade.
Right.
Speaking of grenades, the terrorists try to move everyone, and then they light the war room on fire.
Hell yeah.
And then Regina goes nuts. She's trying to say all these things to get him to pay attention. Finally, she tells him about Yorick being alive.
Yep.
And then Regina gets, I don't know, presidential burial? Is that what we would call this?
Oh, man.
She gets her Medal of Freedom from life.
Regina was a great character. We're going to miss her. We are going to miss her.
We are going to miss Regina. We're also going to miss the good game of who's the president. Because now, I guess, officially, Jennifer enlists. Somebody else is hiding out in some other country. Jennifer is now really the president.
Okay, now let's talk about a moment that drove me crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Bethtrayal, you have scoped out the Pentagon and told the people who want to break in. You've helped them plant a bomb to break in.
Mm-hmm.
But suddenly, for some reason, you start to appear to have second thoughts. Bethtrayal, what is going on with you?
Again, it would help to know what this meant if we knew what her first thoughts were about this issue.
I mean, come on, no.
Or how Beth got to this point.
What did Bethtrayal think they were going to do when we blow up a bomb? we set off dynamite to blow a hole so we could get into the Pentagon. She thought, what? That's all we need to do. Nobody will get hurt. And oh my Lord, when I say nobody gets hurt, there is tear gas coming through the vents. We assume that's the good guy, the good army members trying to rescue the president and everybody else. But at the same time, this hallway is flooded with smoke and tear gas. And Catfish, what is happening in this hallway?
Well, there are medals being awarded left and right in this hallway.
What are they doing? Indiscriminately shooting? Was that the good guy army members, or was that the invaders who were doing that?
Bubba, I was confused. All I know is some of them were going forward in time, others were going backward in time. So Bethtrayal grabs the president.
Oh my Lord! And runs.
And she runs. So basically what happened was we had Regina put on the board. Where Regina was put on the board, episode 4 maybe?
Ooh, no.
Or was it episode 5?
I think it might have been, we might have seen her in Israel in episode 3. It's like a cliffhanger.
Okay.
I can't remember. But
all right.
She's been around for a while.
Okay, all right. She's been put on the board in episode 3, taken off the board in episode 9.
Ouch.
Everything is scrambled, so President Brown is kind of maybe back where she is, although everyone knows that she hid a lot of stuff.
Yes.
And presumably she's gone, right? Is she gone, or did you see her in the smoke? Is she gone?
It's going to take a while for this tear gas to clear to figure out where everybody is.
All right. So, but we do know who is still alive.
Oh, yes.
And that is Kimberly and No Chatty Cathy Christine.
Love it.
Are in a basement.
And they are held at gunpoint in the basement. And Kimberly, who I've always loved as a character as well, she's going to protect Christine, protect that baby that she wants to raise. And she kills somebody. Heck yeah, Kimberly. Way to go.
Oh, my God. Kimberly, you have awarded a medal.
She's going to do it for the kids. She's going to protect those kids. Good work, Kimberly.
Do it for the shorties.
Okay, now.
All right, and then Bethtrayal
oh, my Lord.
says to Jennifer, Yorick, tell me. And now this is very confusing to me. And I'll admit, Bubba, sometimes I may not watch this carefully.
Okay.
Especially not for someone who's presumably doing a podcast to provide insights to other people watching. But where did she hear about Yorick being alive? Was it just when Regina said it?
I think
it has to be. Or did she hear
it
before when she was spying for the sheriffs?
No. She definitely did not hear it then.
Because you got to assume, I would assume that was ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Everything with a Y chromosome on the planet.
Dead.
Gone.
Of course.
So you'd have to, I wouldn't even get to the point where I'd be like, really, is this a possibility? It doesn't seem like a possibility.
No, I have no idea. But once again, let's speculate. So the idea that Bethtrayal now knows about Yorick being alive, how does that change the story? Is she going to suddenly have a change of heart? Was she being honest a couple episodes ago when she told the president, man, I should have married him? Where could this lead?
Before we didn't know anything about Beth and we only knew Yorick.
Right.
We're like, because Beth said no, we assumed that she was a smart woman.
Yes.
But now that we've seen some of her actions, it seems like perhaps she is foolish enough to regret saying no to an out-of-work magician with a pet monkey. Maybe that's right up her alley.
Who's to say? I mean, oh my Lord.
I don't know. Only someone who's up that alley with her.
And is this going to be a possible road trip of Bethtrayal and President Jen Brown going to find her son?
I've heard about there's this town that has electricity.
Oh, really? Yes. Yeah, what happened was the president in an earlier episode called and talked somebody to go and get that power generator back up. Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't want all our storylines converging. No. I know I sound like I am asking for one thing and then asking for the complete opposite, but these storylines should not all converge.
No, they shouldn't. But that is it. Listeners, we've given our thoughts. We've told you if we're red peppers or green peppers.
Green peppers.
We've given the characters names. We've talked about the slow story in Ohio and the insanity there in the Pentagon. Once again, the only reason why this podcast exists is to talk and celebrate this show with you. Please write to us on social media at PHQ on Twitter and Instagram. That's the word double, the single letter P, HQ for headquarters. Tell us how you are feeling about the show. And we've got some fun coming up from our buddy Matt Murdick. But before we get to that, Catfish, I think it's medal time. Award time. I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea.
All right, the first award we give is to the Whoa Man of the episode.
Yep.
And that is the most badass, cool, the woman we dug the most in this episode.
Okay.
Bubba, who is your Whoa Man of the episode?
Well, I'm going badass. So because the woman I dug the most in the episode, I think I revealed too much about how hoedown and chill Sonya is, I dug her the most. But for my Whoa Man of the episode, I'm going with my name is Athena. If only because when I go into a supermarket and I don't see Lucky Charms or Frosted Mini Wheats, I totally want to destroy all the cereal. So because Athena got to take out the anger I always have, she is my Whoa Man of the episode.
Screw you, Corn Pops.
Take that, Kellogg's. How about you?
Hell yeah.
Who did you give your Whoa Man of the episode to?
My Whoa Man of the episode is Mack.
Mack? Little old Mack?
Mack knows who has the real power. Nora can pretend she's the power behind the throne when she's barely hanging on. Mack knows where it's at.
Oh.
She's my woe man of the episode.
Mack. If there's one thing we know about Mack, is that she's not a fan of Nora's daughter's mother's buzzers.
All right, Bubba, what's our next award?
Hey, the one thing that we can say with in this episode, just one man in the episode, I believe, Yorick. Hey, I knew him, sorta. Ways in which we two hosts are like or not like Yorick from this particular episode. So, Catfish, how are you like Yorick from this episode? Or not like him?
Well, like Yorick, I also don't want no scrubs.
Man, is anybody taking it more on the chin than Scrubs? When is somebody going to stand up for Scrubs?
Scrubs? No, we don't want them.
No.
And Scrubs, they gone. Bubba?
Yeah.
Yorick, I knew him sorta. How are you like or not like Yorick from this episode?
Well, in some ways, I'm like Yorick in that I'm a great dancer.
Mm-hmm.
But in other ways, like Yorick, I have blown it with so many hoedown and chills in my life. It's not even funny. I have really, really ruined the mood on some hoedown and chills. So sadly, in this episode, I knew him a lot. Yorick, I knew him too much.
I completely agree with you, Bubba, in that,
mean?
like Yorick, you both think you can dance.
But
You both think you're great dancers.
edit.
All right, well, now we have
Yeah.
the part of the episode everyone's been waiting for.
I've been waiting for it.
It's the Double M.
Double M.
Matt Murdick music analysis. You know, there was a little bit of libel on Twitter this week. I believe it's libel. What's a written form? So would that be slander?
What do you mean?
Libel, I think. Matt claimed
What?
that we give his music analysis, we give him that without listening to it. And for that, I'm going to sue him, but also not listen to his music analysis this week.
Oh, wait, no. Everybody listen to it. It is brilliant. Matt.
Just me. Only the people got slandered.
Okay. Matt, what do you got?
You will go to Spotify or Amazon or however you get your music, Apple Music. You will find Curtis's soundtrack to Why the Last Man. And you will go to track 10, titled Amazonas, and you will listen. And then you will go back to the scene where Hero has just finished scoping it out. Nora's trying to guide Roxanne into what to get from the place. And Roxanne decides, the heck with that, we're going to destroy anything to do with men. And the horses march in and wreck the place. What you're going to find is that the music that's underneath that scene is the exact same as that track 10, Amazonas. I deeply apologize if I mispronounced that. It's not like it's music that we haven't heard before. In fact, we heard it just a few seconds earlier in the episode, the melody anyway, used for Agent 355. And it's something that we've heard associated with Agent 355 throughout the course of the series so far. This time, the women in power are Roxanne's troop, just as Agent 355 is a woman in power. Just get to the theme already, Matt, you say. Okay, this is the one I'm talking about. Yeah, you recognize that, don't you? You've heard that plenty of times with Agent 355 before. Now you hear it with Roxanne's Amazons. And I'm not going to get into the why of that. What I am going to get into is how brilliantly there is a continuity to everything that Curtis does throughout the course of this series. Even if you think that melodies might need to go with a certain character or with a certain situation, it doesn't matter because everything is musically consistent. And the beautiful thing is that with this scene, for the first time in the series, anyway, I won't necessarily say on a soundtrack, but in the series, you get some harmonies with this melody that we've heard pretty much play all by itself or underneath some kind of just synth drone. This time, we get harmonies like this. just like last week, you're going to have to forgive me for a second while I rattle some numbers off. We have a 1 minor, and then the second line gets a 5/7 or a 5-chord dominant. This third line gets a 5-chord dominant, and the last chord gets a 1 minor. So it's dark because we already know, I've bored you to death with this, but we already know that minor harmonies tend to be dark. And we have resolution to this because we also know that 5 dominant chords tend to want to go back to the 1. Here it does. If I just rattled off a bunch of stuff that you said, Matt, that doesn't make any sense, it's okay. The melody sounds like it got back around to where it was supposed to, right? That's all we're looking for here. But here's the thing. Pardon the Pablo Torre impression. The thing is, that's not where this melody stops. We got more of it this time around. And it creates a continuity with the whole of the series all its own. Let me play for you, as the horses come riding in, what happens next. Aha. Now see, because we've already felt like the melody got back around to where its home key was, now we don't get that. Things are unresolved. It hangs on the 5 chord. There's another number for you, but it hangs on the dominant 5. It doesn't quite resolve. And instead it just repeats that again, but no resolution. That helps create additional tension in the scene as it goes from the girls simply taking the place over to them starting to destroy the place. And then another little bit of music comes in over the top of that. But we're going to stop right there because I want to go back to last week, and I talked about those 3 chords when Hero was revealing herself to Roxanne about things, or when Roxanne was helping Hero talk through things. Remember how I said it felt unresolved if you looked at it from a certain way? You get the same thing here. It's not the same 3 chords, but they all seem to end on a chord that needs to go somewhere else. Otherwise, it doesn't fit with the other chords that you hear before it. But there's something else. It not only adds a continuity to Hero and Roxanne, that little piece of music that we talked about last week, but it also adds continuity to the main theme, because this set of harmonies that go along with this melody, the melody which is clearly an extension of the melody that we heard that I first played, now it ties into the main theme, specifically the bridge of the main theme, because the chords are the same. Think back to the main theme, and it gets to that point where everything builds up real big, and this is what you hear. Huh? Now, the timing's different, but the harmonies go in the exact same order. Here's part of that extension from this episode. Yes, you're hearing it now? Now, if you listen to the Spotify or Amazon or wherever you get it, hopefully you've bought it. If you're listening to it on your home device because you've bought Urtis's soundtrack, then you're going to hear this track 10 and you're going to say, whoa, what's all that animated synth going on in there? A couple of things could be happening there. One, the sound of the horses galloping in could be burying it a little bit. Another trick is something that we talked about. If you go way back into the archives of Double P Podcast and listen to our coverage of Babylon Berlin, that's Babylon Berlin, where Catfish and Bubba and I discussed that particular series, then what you will find is that the composers for that show would make cuts with a whole lot of stuff in it. And then nowadays, doing everything digitally, it's very easy to filter some tracks out or to make them quieter so that they don't intrude maybe with the horse galloping sound. It could also be, however, that, after years and years of touring and a guy who finally got to the point where he could only put the bass drum and the hi-hat in his monitor mix from the drums because otherwise the noise was too distracting. Could be just that I just didn't hear the animated sounds. But what you need to do is go out and buy Urtis's score right now and then listen to track 10 and tell me whether you heard all of that animated synth stuff in the TV show or not. That is your mission. Y lives on. And so do Bubba and Catfish. So back to them.
He totally took us out and provided great information. Thank you as always, Matt.
I wouldn't know because I didn't listen.
No, how dare you? How dare you? Now, Catfish, we end this podcast the way we end every episode of Z, the podcast you listen to after you watch Y the Last Man, by naming our suspect of the week. What do we mean by suspect of the week?
Well, Bubba.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead. I thought you were asking me. It was a rhetorical question. No, go ahead. Answer your question.
What do I mean?
You genuinely sounded like you wanted to know.
Oh, well, no, tell me and let me see if I'm correct. So what do we mean by suspect of the week?
Well, there's a big mystery. How did we lose all the creatures with the Y chromosome? We don't know. But every week, they give us little hints and clues about what happened. Mm-hmm. So, Bubba, who is your suspect of the week?
So who do I think killed all of the creatures with a Y chromosome?
Yeah.
Women. So in this episode, we see women destroying shit. They are wrecking shit. And we've seen them wreck, they apparently off camera, wreck the White House. They blew up the Pentagon. They ruined a really good Groupon event in our local community of all the male voices. There's only one suspect for who killed all the Y chromosome creatures, and that is women.
Oh, man.
They did it. Come on, prove me wrong.
I will prove you wrong, Bubba.
What?
Because I think you're casting the net too wide.
Too wide.
Yeah, you need to narrow it down a little bit. My suspect of the week?
Yeah.
TLC.
What? You mean the cable channel?
No, I mean the musical group. They were tired of just talking about how they didn't want Scrubs, and so they finally got rid of the Scrubs.
Oh, no.
Yeah. You know what?
Yeah.
Better to cast a wider net than a narrower net. I mean, maybe there were one or two guys who weren't Scrubs, but better to be safe than sorry. My suspect of the week, TLC.
R.I.P. Left Eye.
R.I.P. Burn down that house, girl.
Heck, exactly. First Andre Rison's and then the White House.
It's all coming together.
It is all coming together. And what's coming together is this first season of Y the Last Man. Next week, we're going to be talking about the final episode of season 1. Entitled,
holy cow.
Entitled Victoria. As the Amazons close in on Marysville, that's the Ohio location, Nora reaches a breaking point. Yorick makes a new connection while 355 faces her past. Whoa.
Whoa. There's a lot cooking there.
There is. A lot of cooking with gas. That's what's so exciting. This action-packed insanity of this episode, you know it's just going to roll over into episode 10.
But before, after you listen to this podcast, and before you watch and the episode and listen to next week's podcast, please hit us up at Double PHQ on Twitter. Please subscribe, hit the subscribe button, mash it, comment. We want to share all your comments. And next week we'll be drawing listeners out of a hat to give them a gift that has not been provided to us by AMC.
By AMC?
By FX. Well, hey, I blame AMC as well. Mostly AMC, but also FX and Hulu for not sending us something fun so we can send it, but we're still going to draw a name out of it and give it to them.
That's right.
I am Catfish. You can hit me up at CJGman67 on Twitter, your 67th favorite CJGman. And with me, as always, has been Bubba. Bubba, how do people reach you?
You can mock me, please do, on Twitter at my Twitter handle, Fit and Trim. That's FITTENTRIM at Fit and Trim on Twitter. And you will be able to listen to us next week on
Z, the first podcast you listen to after you watch.
Why The Last Man? Why did they attack the Pentagon?